Ooh, that was quick. It's YouTube, babies. Brought to you by Pib Zero. When like a little bit of extra is just too much, try Pib Zero.
If you mix the two, does it just become Pib?
Yeah, no, it's Mr. Pibb.
Okay, I figured.
Now, do you remember when we went, I think it was Holiday World in like the sixth grade? Boy, is a long time ago. They had a list of drinks that we were not allowed to have. It was like Red Bull, like fucking other crazy drinks, and then they're like Pib Extra, and
No, I do
everyone,
not remember that.
oh, well, because like I was a big Pib Extra head, and everyone was like, why? Like, cause it's extra Pib. It's like it's the same thing. You just can't buy Mr. Pibb anymore.
They thought it was like double the sugar or
I
some
I
shit.
guess
That's
fucking
funny.
dopes. They're
Yeah.
gonna be like, this one, you can't have Pib Zero because it's just not enough Pib now.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you want to meet your quota of Pib?
So I got some Hallie stories. So last
Okay.
week, I forgot to tell you this. Hallie's my dog, not my dog. She's my dog to her. But last week, last week I forgot to tell you this. I had to pay property taxes, and the fucking property tax place didn't open until 9:30.
Oh,
I
nice
just,
hours.
I mean, in all fairness to them, I got this in the mail a long time ago, and I could have easily have been paying it at any point. But I was like, I'll just wait till the last day. And so then like I was like, well, since they don't open until 9:30, I'm gonna go get a workout in. So I got my workout in and I came home and I had this glass pan that was I used it to cook enchiladas in, and then I'd also like transfer stuff to the grill in it. And and it was on the stove. Hallie got it off the stove on the ground and she was bleeding. I'm just like, Lord. And I'm still like I've swept and I've ran my Roomba and all that stuff. Every once in a while, I get John McClane and I got to pull some glass out of my feet.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday I went for a bike ride and I had left some dishes in the sink, and this is just some of the stuff that I had some barbecue chicken, so a little bit of barbecue sauce on a plate, and then I made myself a root beer float. Just like a nice little healthy root beer float. And that cup with the spoon was still in the sink. And I go for a 40-minute bike ride. I get home and I look at the couch because normally she'll just take something and then go over to the couch with it. I haven't seen anything. I'm like, whatever, cool. I go into the kitchen. The fucking plate is just shattered on the floor. And like when I got home, she's just happy to see me, and I let her outside. She just pees and she comes back in, and then as soon as she sees there, she's like, I'm just like, dude, why do you do these things? And then I go over to the couch,
How did she
and
get it out of the
I don't
sink?
know. I have no idea because it's not like because I had those things and I had one more pan in there and a Tupperware container. She got the Tupperware container down, chewed it up. I just gotta throw that away. And then got my cup down and licked all of the ice cream out from in there.
You just can't be leaving dishes, man.
I mean, apparently, because like I thought in the sink, there's no way she could get it, and she's just like, "You fucking thought, you fool." Oh.
That is
All
so
right,
ridiculous.
yeah, and so now, and since this is our NBA hour where we just talk NBA news, how do you feel about free agency so far? Paul George to the
Um,
Sixers?
yeah, so the main ones that I saw was Paul George with the Sixers, and then I saw that Clay's a free agent, and I saw that Chris Paul's a free agent.
So they aren't anymore. Clay is with the Mavs. And then Chris Paul is with the San Antonio Spurs because in normal Spurs fashion, they showed interest in him years ago when he was still good. And now they're like, "You want to come over here now, guy?" And he's like, "Boy, do I. Will you overpay me?" They're like, "Probably." And so, I mean, it's actually not too bad of a deal. And like some people are talking like, oh, he's gonna try to play himself into a coaching gig. And like what I really think is gonna happen is this is like the same thing that happened when he went to OKC. He's gonna spend 1 year on the shitty San Antonio Spurs, build up his value, and then go to a team like, I don't know, the Bucks or Sixers or
Don't say that.
or like any team that's like, I'll say top 3 or 5 in their conference because they'll be like, well, we could use him off the bench or whatever, like to lead our offense and stuff. And I think that's going to happen. He's going to make a little bit more money than he's making this year. But
Gosh, I mean, he's like what, 38 or 39?
I think he's gonna be 40 soon.
Yeah.
Like I think this coming years is gonna be his 40th year. But playing it alongside, like he's really good at playing alongside like centers that are like just big centers, and then you add in Wimby. It's like, and then he's got a brain, which it just seemed like last year everyone that had the ball that wasn't Wimby didn't have a fucking brain. So they're gonna win games. And then I'm trying to think of another. Oh, the LeBron was like, I'm gonna take a pay cut, and then now like no one wants to like still sign with the Lakers, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna take the whole max then. That's the current rumor. Trying to think of what else. If anything like major happened. No, I mean, I think the 76ers with Paul George, it's just like another 76ers thing because it's like, boy, this is looking a lot like James Harden all over again.
Yep.
Like you're getting another guy that just fucking shits the bed in the playoffs. But at least Embiid will be able to go, I don't know. I did everything we could. It's all his fault. Like he
Yep.
does every fucking year.
Every single year.
Yep.
Paul George is getting a lot of fucking money though. It's like
Yeah.
212 over 4 years.
Yeah. It's like, boy, does he not deserve that or what?
Yeah, no shit. Pretty sure that's more than Giannis.
Yeah. He's like, I saw a thing where it's like, who's stopping this group? And someone goes head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I'm
Yes, I
like,
saw that too. I thought that was hilarious.
which is like, it's a shame because like Maxi seems like a really nice guy, nice kid. Embiid's a piece of shit, and Paul George just seems like such a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I saw like a thing where it was every team that he has said he's like he's been on, he's like, I want to retire with this team. It was like with the Pacers. And then then 3 weeks later asked for a trade. Then he's like, I'm gonna retire with OKC. I love it here. Requested a trade. Clippers. This has been my team ever since I was a kid. I love it here. This is my home. And then left in free agency.
Yeah. Not a fan personally.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys where I'm like, he just kind of is an idiot. Like that's basically it.
Mm, agreed.
Oh, did you hear the rumors that the Bucks might trade old rookie Lopez for? There's multiple stuff. Like the big one is Brandon Ingram. Try to do a trade that way, which I don't like for either team. And then might trade him to the Spurs too.
Or
No idea with the Spurs. They'd probably have to do like a 3-team trade because I don't think the Bucks give a shit about draft picks. That's really what the Spurs could offer. Like they could bring like give you a Keldon Johnson and like a couple first or something. And but so like you probably have to like repackage that for someone you want type of thing.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really want them to do anything other than trade Pat, you know? And
Yeah,
that
that
could be for a bag of chips. I don't care.
yeah. I mean, it's like they just you need I mean, you needed Alex Caruso. The fact that the fucking Bulls gave him up for Josh Giddey straight up, it's like the Bucks should have been fucking calling because Caruso would have been perfect. He's like the better version of Pat Bev. And I don't think
Yeah,
Pat Bev's coming back. So
yeah, probably not. Which is a shame because he did everything he could.
he he did, but he's a fucking head case. I think he's probably
Hmm.
more of a headache, like kind of like how Draymond Green is getting, just more of a headache than an actual help.
Yeah, fair enough.
But hey, he's a podcaster too. If you want to do like a crossover podcast, Pat Bev, because you're an Illinois boy, we're Illinois boys, you know?
He'd be like, "Oh, you don't subscribe?
Yeah,
Nah,
right. I'm like, actually, just good.
no, you won't."
I mean, I've thought about listening to it, but it's like so many of those NBA podcasts are the same, where it's like these not too charismatic basketball players are with their friend who's even less charismatic. It's just like this is a rough listen, guys.
Yeah, I get that. Not like this one.
Nope. Two charismatic assholes just licking each other. I don't know.
Ooh.
Rim job
All
cast.
right. All right, shall we move on from the YouTube segment?
Let's do it.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Leon to my Roy. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's up with you? So, Fire Emblem?
No, the Harpers.
Oh, okay. So I'm your baby girl.
Yep, you're my little baby girl.
So you gotta take me to Florida with you.
Like, hey, in-laws, this is Casey. He'll be
Yeah, I'm like,
joining us.
but like this, you turn your back because I'm like on one of those baby Bjorns on your
Oh,
back. I'm just
yeah.
like, hey guys.
You won't even know he's here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, if you want to hear us talk about the NBA and listen to Casey share a couple of silly stories about his dog, where can they do that?
You can do that on the old YouTube, and you can leave a comment down below on, what I need to do to make my dog stop breaking my dishes.
Oh man. All right. No YouTube comments, so we'll get into the news. You have one or two more than me, so I'll let you start it off.
All right, man. So we actually so last week I was like, oh yeah, we got the teaser trailer for the Batman Cape Crusader. We actually got a real trailer, like I think the very next day. And it looks okay. Like it's very Golden Age looking, so like some of the character designs aren't really my cup of tea. Like, I mean, the Two-Face is one of the worst Two-Face designs I think I've ever seen because it's just kind of like, my face is kind of messed up. Like that type of thing. And then it looked like the clay face that we're getting is the Golden Age clay face or like something similar to that. So, and like Golden Age Catwoman's costume and that type of stuff. So it's interesting. I'm interested. I'm gonna check it out. I'm still like kind of nervous about Bruce Timm being just the main brain force behind something and not having Paul Dini or anyone else to kind of rein him in because Batman fucking Batgirl is still fucking terrible. Did you watch
Eh,
the trailer?
no,
Okay. You gonna
I
check it out at all though?
I mean maybe. I'll just have to hear what people are saying about it.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Okay, I'll do my only bit of movie news.
All right.
Kevin Feige confirmed that Fantastic Four production starts in July. It's going to be a 1960s period piece and is potentially an alternate MCU timeline. Pretty bizarre choice, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, so far most of the stuff they've been doing has been bizarre. Outside of the casting for Galactus, I'm still like, yeah, that one is good, but
Yep.
about everything else has been kind of like,
It's like I thought they were
they,
going to be the next big thing.
yeah, but you can't be the next big thing when like the one of the main guys you're casting is gonna be 70 by the time Secret Wars comes out. You know, like it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
So yeah, I mean I don't know. It's like it's so hard for me to give a shit. Like my excitement levels for this has gone like the exact opposite of Madden Web.
I mean, do you think it'll be better, worse, the same?
Part of me thinks it's probably gonna be more disappointing because Madam like it's gonna be kind of like I think it's gonna be like The Flash, where The Flash is just a bad movie. Madam Web, as I've said, you could watch that with friends and laugh. Like for me, The Flash just made me mad, and I have a feeling this is gonna be like that type of level for me.
I kind of get what you mean because we knew Madam Web was going to be dog shit.
Yeah,
So you can't be disappointed knowing it's going to be dog shit.
yeah, and
But
it's
this,
kind of funny too. Like Madam Web's kind of funny, not so much for the right reasons, but it was
not at all
fucking.
for the right reasons.
I mean, I'm sure there's at least one joke that we both laughed at that was meant to be funny. But yeah, let us know down below though if you are at all excited about, this Fantastic Four movie, and maybe you can be like, no, guys, it's gonna be great. The like, 60-year-old Mr. Fantastic is gonna just be the best thing to ever happen to the Fantastic Four, and I'll be like, all right, maybe you're right.
Well, he will be kind of jacked because did you see him in the Gladiator 2 trailer?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me either until today. They're doing a Gladiator 2 starring Pedro. It's like, and this guy's gonna need a fucking walker here pretty soon.
Right? I mean, maybe the that special HRT that, actors get to go on as
Mm-hmm.
helping out.
Yeah, might be. I mean, he looked good, no doubt.
All right, so I'm gonna lump my three things in and I'll finish on my fourth one since it's all movie shit for those three. If that's good with
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some more set photos from Superman Legacy. Clark Kent. He just looks like someone that could never be Superman. I don't know how they're doing it. Did you see the
See,
pictures?
I tried to find him. I couldn't
Oh,
find
okay.
him.
I'll try to send it to you really quick. And then we got some other set photos with it's like this dude in all black. His mask kind of looks like Doomsday's mask when he first pops up, like with the kind of goggle things. But there's a big U here. So that's the rumored like Ultraman Bizarro Doomsday combo because, we don't have enough good Superman villains to use. So like we got to make up a brand new one for this. But
And he's actually the three of those combined?
we don't know. That's this been the rumor. Here I'll send this to you via the gram, and then I'll try to find the other one really quick.
Okay.
Well, here we go. The when I say he could never be Superman, it's because he looks like a really great Clark Kent, by the way, for those that don't pick up on the sarcasm on that.
Uh,
Because yeah, he's got like disheveled hair, kind of like I think his suit needs to be baggier since his super suit's baggy. But yeah, I like how he looks as the
yeah.
old Clark Kent.
Yeah, I do too.
What do you think of that villain too? Because it's
I don't
something.
know. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty underwhelming.
Yeah. And since it's
Also, I mean, I guess they kind of had to because of the similarities, but it's like did you have to choose that shitty John Romita Jr. drawing to go with it?
Right.
But I guess the suit is also kind of shitty, so it's whatever.
Yeah. Okay. And then also, like, we say this all the time, outside of that Clark Kent, set photos will never look as good as they will on the screen, so it might look way better, you know.
Yep.
We also got the first look at Jack Keys' Hellboy. I kind of forgot this was a thing, and I was like, oh, there's a new live action Hellboy, but we gotta look at it. And I mean, people are bitching about it online, but it's actually looks fine. It can't be too bad, I don't think. You'd hope
Yeah,
not.
I agree. And while I didn't see the last one with what's his name, I'm sure it'll probably do better than that one.
Yeah, you hope so, because that I hear was dog shit, like
Yeah.
impressively bad.
What's his something Harbor?
Derek Harbor.
Derek Harbor?
Yeah, pretty sure
That
he
doesn't
is.
sound right.
David Harbor.
David Harbor, that's what it is.
Derek is his brother that's less famous.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
He's gonna actually be on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
I know the trailer dropped for that today. I didn't watch the trailer, I just saw the photos, but I
I didn't
mean,
even know that didn't even know the trailer dropped.
yeah, it dropped today.
All right, so I might have to check that out after we get off here.
But he looks like Hellboy. And
Yeah.
I will see this one, damn it, because I claim to be the Hellboy fan of this podcast.
I mean, we both like Hellboy. You just buy more comics than me. Let's just,
True,
yeah,
true.
because it's like there's just too much shit, and I'm not caught up on Hellboy, even though you don't really have to be anymore. I don't think.
Mm-mm.
It's just like each one's kind of self-contained if you know who Hellboy is.
Yep.
All right. And then officially, this is like the before it was, I think, just a James Gunn tweet, but officially the Lantern series is greenlit. It's 8 episodes. It follows Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. Chris Mundy is the showrunner. Damon Lindelof and Tom King are writers. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really learn anything too new there, but I was like, might as well. And since it's officially greenlit now, I can talk about, we can say this. I'm
Yeah,
just I think 8 episodes isn't enough, and I also think a TV show for Green Lantern is a bad idea.
I agree. I don't really have much to add there,
Yeah,
except that despite how we feel about Tom King, personally, I just hope that it's a good story. Because,
I
we can deal with shitty special effects if the story's good.
my one worry, and I'm hoping the other writers in the writers' room reel him the fuck in
Hmm.
because I do not want to see Tom King self inserts for 8 episodes
I agree.
because
But I do think that it'll be different than his comics. He doesn't have a name in film like he does in comics.
yeah, but you brought the douchebag on for a reason, and
Hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, let's just write a military, trauma.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they can let him do the John Stewart war, flashback scenes and then him, feeling down about that.
And
But
then like Hal Jordan watching his dad die and like just being depressed about that. It's like, wow, he's just doing a lot of depressing shit. Cool.
yeah,
Guy shows up as Nathan Fillion. He's like, hey guys, and they're like, we're too busy being depressed. Get out of here. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Superman, and he flies away.
for sure. Um, all right. I mean, do you just want to do your last one?
Oh, if you want me to.
Sure.
So there was some news that broke out. People were like pissy on Twitter, so I just thought we'd talk about it. Jim Lee's commission
That
prices.
doesn't sound like people on
I
Twitter.
know, right? Well, it's like one of those things too, where it was like people then complained about it, and then other people were like, actually, we love him, which we're on the, we love him part, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, but Jim Lee's commission prices were released. And if you're getting like a full on perfect commission, it's 20K. And then like something that you would have like for the blank cover and he's got some time, 8K. And then like it's just prices in between there. And it's like you didn't bat a fucking eye when I said 20K. I mean, like that's an insane amount of money, but we both understand he's the boss of DC Comics. His time, like his time is very valuable. Him doing a
Absolutely.
full commission, which you're then gonna try to sell for, 30,000 on eBay, it's not that bad of a deal. It's just
Nope.
like to me, it's just the fucking free market. If someone's willing to pay 20K for a commission, they ought to pay
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly why I didn't bat an eye. He has so much going on that he's like, I'll do it, but I'm gonna throw a ridiculous price on it so that it's actually worth my time. And if someone pays it, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
And good for
And
him.
I
He doesn't have to do the commission grind anymore.
exactly. And I want to share a funny, not funny, but like just a story about, Jim Lee that Gail Simone posted on Twitter. Because like I said, everyone was like, we love him. And like I think there's like two people that are probably mad about this. So you don't really have like everyone's just like, yeah, he's Jim Lee, he's awesome. But when this like this legend of I read the tweet and I'm kind of forgetting it, so I'll probably mess stuff up. But basically this legend was like had messed up eyes and he needed surgery to basically keep his eyes. And so Gail went around to all these legendary people, like Neil Adams and just so on and so forth, just to get, see if they do commissions, for charity. And so she was like, and I was terrified to talk to Jim about it because he was my boss at the time. And he's so big, like this San Diego Comic Con, Jim Lee's, I mean, he's basically Bono at Comic Con. So, no, he's Taylor Swift at Comic Con. That's what it would
Yeah.
be now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's, man, this is like the third episode in a row we talked about Taylor Swift. Next episode, she's gonna be on, guys, probably. Um, so she's like, so I asked him, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it at the like my panel that I'm doing. And so he, puts it on the projector and he's talking and he does a Batman. He's like, I'll do Batman because that's gonna sell the best. So he does Batman, and then like after he does it, he's like, Wolverine would be even cooler to add to it. So then he adds Wolverine to it. And then after, he's like, I'm not happy with it. So then he did more like background shit and more different little things to make it even cooler, and then gave it to her. And then he donated, I think, a page also from his own collection of like from when he was working on X-Men.
Yeah. So again, it's just like, how can you hate the guy?
Yeah.
You just have some stupid thing against him for no
Yep.
reason.
100%. And it's like, what can you do? The he's it's just like if you had 20K to blow on a fucking commission, you'd do it. Like, but it's just
Yeah.
you know, yeah. Like I don't think we'll ever get to meet him because his lines. Like I think he was at C2E2 one year, right?
Mhm.
And his line was just insane. And you also had to meet Bendes at the same time, I think. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
gross.
Yeah, I know. But I did walk right by and go, oh, there's Jim Lee.
Yeah. And he's
Good
like,
enough for me.
oh, Jake Gilly.
Like, yeah, Two Worlds Pod. And he's like, huh?
He's like, no, comic headquarters on Telegraph Road, St.
Uh,
Louis.
the crazy thing is that there's actually a chance that he's heard of it. Because
Mark Wade had, but
yeah,
Mark
Mark
Wade
Wade
kind of
had.
knows everything about comics, so
Yeah.
he probably knows about this podcast. It's like these idiots.
But also, Mark, we love you. Please
Oh,
come.
100%. I like he doesn't use Twitter anymore, but he used to follow me like on my real Twitter account, not the Two Worlds one. So I DM'd him, and I'm like, he doesn't use it anymore, so it doesn't matter.
I don't blame him there. Okay. So the next Moon Knight series was announced. It's called Fist of Khonshu. Jed McKay and Alessandro Capuccio are still going to be working on it. I assume that this will be post Blood Hunt, because it is going to be Mark Spector. So it's funny because he didn't stay as dead for like the year that most people stay dead, but it wasn't nearly as quick as like the Ms. Marvel, which was maybe one single week.
Well, that one was announced before she even died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's whatever. We knew he wasn't going to stay dead. Nobody does, but especially not Moon Knight right now. I'm just glad that it's the same creative team and the story's been cool and Blood Hunt's been cool. So, whatever. I still have the same complaint that I do like with She-Hulk or anything. It's like this could have all just been one single run, but whatever.
Yeah, like calling it Fist of Khonshu, I was thinking it was gonna be like, I don't know, what's the Hunter's Moon? That's his buddy, right?
Yep.
I was thinking it was just gonna be like a Hunter's Moon book with like the other ragtag friends in there trying to keep up Moon Knight's name. I didn't expect Moon Knight to be back so quick.
Yeah. I'd have been fine with that if it were like Fists of
Yeah,
Khonshu, but even then it's like that's not getting more than 5 issues in a
yeah.
trade, right?
What
So
if it was Fisting Khonshu?
I think that's already a book that you can find on the dark web.
Ooh, Dark
But anyway, I'm excited. Uh Marvel did this cute little thing where this upcoming week, so the week that this comes out, they did a surprise issue 0 drop for it. Did they let shops know? Absolutely not. Does everybody know about it and will want one? Of course. So, I'll get them after the fact,
Yeah.
a few days after everyone's been calling and coming in for it.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. They
Got,
really like to help their retail stores.
gotta love Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Next thing, a title called G.I. Joe was announced for Image and Skybound. It'll be written by Mr. Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley and Jordi Belair. So we knew that was coming. It wasn't always just going to be Larry Hama doing Real American Hero until the end of time. So um Williamson did Duke,
He
right?
did Duke and Cobra Commander. And then I think he had um Tom Riley with him on Duke. And I love that book. I love Tom Riley's art. Jordi Belair, you put her on anything, it's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like an A plus team. Like it's the perfect team for G.I. Joe number one or like any number one if you just want people to be excited about it.
So you picking it up?
No, I fucking hate you. Yeah, I'm picking it up.
Nice.
My one worry is like legit too, is because there's that other G.I. Joe book out right now. I'm gonna like fuck up and get the wrong one.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think that a lot of times I'll catch shit like that and know what you
Yeah.
mean. But so like Duke was like breaking G.I. Joe records. Cobra Commander broke that record. Scarlet broke that record. Destro broke that record. A proper, hey, G.I. Joe number one, I think is going to be bonkers.
Hmm. I'm all about it. You can check it out. I mean, I know you haven't been reading any of these, but
I'm just not
yeah.
a Joe guy, man. I just
I
don't
mean,
I just don't care.
you know why? I'm just gonna say this. Because your only real, intro to them was the shitty fucking movie.
Yeah, but dude, like come on. I'm
No,
not I'm
I no,
not
I get
adding
that.
GI Joe on top of this.
I'm kind of surprised because as much as you love Dan Waters, that you didn't pick up, yeah, at least try Destro.
It's I like
Yeah.
him, but again,
Yeah, if this was fresh off of it, Azrael, Dan Waters, you woulda.
mm,
Because you were like super high on him and he hadn't been, didn't have a whole lot. Now he's got more shit out that you can be like, I'll pick up his other four
yeah,
books.
yeah, but I've read everything else he's put out,
Yeah, that's true.
It's just I don't really want to read GI Joe.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah. My 80s loyalties lie with Thundercats, Voltron, and He-Man.
Yeah.
I'm 80s out right now. All right, and then my last bit. DC moves, I think starting this week, their single issue release day from Tuesday back to Wednesday. That was a change they made in 2020 when they broke off from Diamond and created Lunar so they could distribute their own stuff. They were like, we're going to make our books available on Tuesday, a day early. And I never put them out a day early. I maybe had 5 people in the last 4 years come on a Tuesday looking for DC books, but I'm always like, look, man, I will put them out tomorrow with the rest of the books so that it's not a gigantic pain in the ass. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, I get that. And then it's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, starting this week, I guess. For some reason, their digital comics and trades will be listed for Tuesday still. But it's like, dude, if you're gonna move your singles, why not just move all of it? I don't get it.
Yeah. I kind of get the digital because I mean, they're probably trying to move more people to digital because you'd think would be cheaper for them too. Like they make more money off of it than having to print shit, you know? So they might just be like, if you guys want to read it early, spend the money on Comixology, that type, doing that type of thing.
Yeah,
But and it probably won't cost them any extra to, have that come out on Tuesdays and stuff.
sure. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, shops can do whatever they want. So
Hmm.
nothing really changed too much for me in those 4 years, but it's still kind of nice to know that like because as a shop in the back of your head, it's like, well, would somebody go to one of my competitors to get it a day early and not come here? I don't think so. I didn't really notice any difference with business, but now it's like, okay, well, everybody's got to do the same now. So
Yeah. You're gonna get like 100 people coming in that are new and they're like, well, I wanted to get my DC as soon as it came out. And I guess I'm just back here because I don't have to drive an hour now.
and I welcome them with open arms.
Your arms are wide open.
Arms wide open.
Oh, that reminds me. This is just be off subject, and then we'll get to our comics that we read this week. I'm making a playlist on Spotify of bad songs that are fun to sing. I've got 2 Creed songs and 2 Nickelback. What are some more? So I got Arms
uh,
Wide Open, and then I think the other Creed song that is fun to sing, and then This Is How You Remind Me and Hero.
dude, I mean, I think
I need
Nickelback's got
Photograph.
about 8 that you could put on there.
Yeah, but they all kind of sound the same. So I need to
True.
add Photograph because that one's fun too.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to think it over.
All right. Let us know down below your opinions too. And if you put Weezer on there, you're blocked. All right, what comics did you read this week though, man?
I ran Absolute Power Ground Zero, Daredevil number 10, Green Arrow number 13, The Sacrificers number 9, Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons 2, Son of Giants number 1, Vengeance of Moon Knight number 6, Zatanna Bring Down the House number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog Spring Broken, William of Newbury number 2, Blood Hunt Magic number 1, Action Comics 1066, Superman number 15, and Grommets number 2.
You read more than me this week.
I believe it.
So I read Hellbrain number 2, Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives issue 3, Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2 issue 3, Godzilla Here There Be Dragons 2 Sons of Giants issue 1, Zatanna Bring Down the House issue 1, Batman and Robin issue 10, Daredevil issue 10, 1066 Superman Action Comics, and Superman 15.
Did you say Batman and Robin?
Yeah, that must have been last week's or
Can I
whenever
see
I
the
didn't.
cover?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was
Okay.
the previous one. I was
Then
like,
I
there's
just
no
won't.
way I missed that.
Then I just won't even talk about that one. It's old news. Old news.
Old news, baby.
Old news. Get you screws.
All right, so I'll start us off. With Grommets #2 by Rick Remender, Brian Posehn, and Brett Parson. So I like the first issue of this a lot. This issue was even better. This is a very, very good book. It's just kids in the 80s listening to their punk rock music and skateboarding and getting into trouble, and it's just good stuff. Fun stuff. Really liked it. The art is just a joy. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
You sounded like the oldest man on the planet. Like, yeah, just some young kids listen to their punk rock and their skateboards and got their PlayStations.
That's how that, it's just how it is.
So I only have three books that aren't mutuals. So pretty
All
much
right.
read a couple more. Or not read. You're not reading to us.
Blood Hunt Magic #1 by Ashley Allen and Jesus Hervas. Um, I don't know. The art was good, but I didn't really like the story too. Well, the story was fine, like the plot, but the dialogue I was not a fan of. She Magic just didn't read like magic. Everything felt very out of character. And one part was really stupid. So like she's trying to save these kids from the vampires in Siberia. And she gets to a point where she transforms into magic because she's in street clothes and kills the vampires. And she turns to the kids, and the kids are scared of her. The kids are like, she's a witch. Ah, we're scared. And she's like, I'm gonna go kill the other vampires. Stay out here in the middle of this frozen wasteland, and I'll come back. And they're like, ah, we're scared. Well, then she kills them. She comes back. They are still there, despite being afraid of her. And they're smiling and laughing and don't mention anything about being scared or anything like that. They just like follow her out of the woods and she leads them home, and that's how it ends. I'm just
Oh.
like, what? Just a fucking letdown, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
Art was real good, but I gotta give it like a 5.
I gotcha, man.
William of Newbury, #2 by Michael Avon Oeming. This was very good. Uh, I really like the story. William is great. His little rogue friend is great. He's just banishing demons, and the art's cute, and I like just the atmosphere and everything like that. It's just a good time, man. Um, so I'm gonna give it an 8. Looking forward to the next issue.
Nice.
Again, if you like the Red Wall novels and Hellboy, you'll like that series.
Man, I need to remember that for next time I get Nick something because he's the reason why I knew anything about the Red Wall series. And he also, you know, is a Hellboy boy.
Well,
Hellboy squared, as they say.
I think you'll enjoy.
All right.
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I can do like 2 more, and then that'll give us each 3 before the Michis,
All
I
right.
think.
Let's do it, man.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Spring Broken, which is, I guess, the springtime special
I hope this
by,
isn't by Ken Penders because you'd have Amy flashing Girls Gone Wild style.
it is not, thankfully. It's by Josh Trulio with art by Adam Bryce Thomas. And yeah, there's a big like summer festival thing, and Sonic and Tails go there and they're excited. And Amy is hosting like a flower growing contest. And Silver and SBO and Rough and Tumble all join it. And Silver's plant catches fire during the judging, and then it's just like a big who done it on who sabotaged the flower contest. And it was just like a whole big runaround of nonsense. And they find out that either Ruff or Tumble, I forget, I get them mixed up because they're both skunks and their names are Ruff and Tumble.
That's a little racist.
It is not. I don't know the difference between Bebop and Rocksteady either. Uh but yeah, anyway, then turns out SBO wins because Silver's flower caught fire and SBO has the next nicest one. But then they all go on carnival rides and eat chili dogs and ice cream, and everybody has a great time with their friends. So uh several panels of Big the Cat in this too, which was pretty fun. He does the little fishing game, believe it or not. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was funny. It was a good spring special. I'm gonna give it a 9. Very enjoyable.
So I'm sorry ahead of time, but Silver got deflowered, basically, is what you're saying is what happened.
No, this isn't a Ken Penders book. All right, Vengeance of Moon Knight number 6 by Jed McKay and Debmalia Prominent. Pretty cool cover here. It's got Soldier, Reese, and 8-Ball fighting vampires on it. So yeah, this issue is like very heavy filler. It really had nothing to do with Blood Hunt, except, oh, we gotta save the people from the bad vampires and convince this one guy who won't come out of his apartment that we are good vampires. And not all vampires are evil vampires. And then at the very end, Reese steps outside and she goes, "Oh my God," and points up at the moon and says, "They did it." And I'm like, oh, I have no idea what that means. Clearly, in Avengers or something, there's a mission to save the moon.
Now she's got really good eyesight and she can see the flag that
Yeah.
that Neil Armstrong put down. She's like, they did it. They landed on the moon. They said it
That's
was
gotta be it.
impossible.
So anyway, it was just a fillery tie-in. It was okay. Um, you know, hashtag not all vampires.
Now, if you were stuck in the woods with a vampire or a bear, which one would you want to, like your choice, which one would it be? Because I'm personally going with the bear.
Yeah, probably the bear. Probably the bear.
We just lost all our vampire listeners.
Yeah, we did. It's a damn shame. Okay, your turn.
All right.
Oh wait, I didn't grade it.
Oh,
Oh, like a 6.5. Like it's
okay.
fine, but also Jed McKay's writing it, and it's a tie into his event, so there should have been some more meat to it.
Yeah. Someone's sounding like a vampire. They want a little bit more meat.
Where's the beef?
Oof, I know that feeling, bud. But Helverine issue 2 by Benjamin Percy and Julius Ota on the art. It's a good time. I mean, you get Wolverine trying to figure out what's going on with, his son, and then his the old Dakin or Dakin is like, I don't know what the hell's going on with me either. My brain's not working right. And he's just murdering bad people, which is pretty sweet. And then some of the old soldiers are, they have some memories. Wolverine murders them. It's a good time. I like this book. Yeah, it's just pretty cool. I'm like, I wanna see what happens in the next issue. Um, yeah, it's just fun. It's exactly what you expect from a book called Helverine by Benjamin Percy. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go 8 out of 10.
cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, The Sacrificers, number 9 by Rick Remender and Max Fiamara. We get to see Pigeon on the cover in his battle armor, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's This book is cool. It's all out action. It's Pigeon going through the sea god's palace, killing everything. Because he was like, the whole point of my life was to be sacrificed to the god here, and my family and everybody I care about, my one friend, all dead because of this. So I'm gonna get revenge. And he does that. And spoiler alert, he even kills the god with some new like firepower that he got. I'm guessing he's gonna, maybe there's like a revenge god or something out there that's like, oh, this guy can totally be my avatar right now. I'm gonna give him some extra power.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sure we'll find out. But yeah, it's cool. He brings down this entire palace and then walks through a portal and is going to continue his reign of terror. So, uh, I'm going to give it another 9. It's really good. I don't know that it's my pick of the week, but it's up there.
Nice, dude. So got Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, issue 3 by Dan Waters and Ram V with Matthew Roberts on the art. Um, so really quick, I do want to say if you are listening and you are a Creature from the Black Lagoon fan, odds are you're gonna really like this, like just this series, because I had my brother read the first 2 issues and he likes Creature from the Black Lagoon. He's like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. This is the tits. I think he said tits, but it's very good, basically. But yeah, then this issue, Jake, you gave it a few issues and you're like, I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
This this issue's really fucking good. I was pretty hooked. We get more stuff with the old serial killer guy. They get some more guns. Like it's cool. They do some fighting. We get to see the creature. Creature looks cool, and we get the the weirdo doing weird stuff. And I enjoyed it a good deal. I'm gonna go 9.5. Really like this issue. Not
My
my pick of the week
goodness.
though.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're liking it, man. It's not for
Yeah.
me.
Well, hey, if you're ever like, I'm gonna give this another try. Maybe read and trade. Maybe you'll be like, oh, this is actually picked up after those first 2 issues.
Maybe.
But then you'll be like, then you'll look at your pile and you'll be like, why did I start reading this again though?
That's more likely. Okay, Green Arrow number 13. It's by Joshua Williamson, with art by, if I could ever find the fucking page, Aman K. Nawelpan. I know I butchered that name.
I always say now you pan. So I bet you were closer to being right than me because you usually are when it comes to names.
Maybe. But yeah, anyway, art's really good in this book. The story's interesting. Ollie just leaves the Arrow family on Arrow Island and goes to be one of Waller's agents for the Absolute Power event. And Roy and Leon go in there to, well, they go to break out Cheshire from her prison. And when they do that, they run into Ollie, who is wearing like one of Waller's goons' outfits. And Roy's like, come on, Ollie, we've been through this. Let's get you out of here and we can talk about it. And he's like, no, I actually think that Waller's right in all of this. And I told her I'd stay, so I'm going to stay. So just get out of here. And so they all go report that back to the Arrow family. And then the last page, uh, Connor walks out and he was like, if my father rejects his title, then I will be the Green Arrow. And he looks fucking cool because Connor always looks cool.
Yeah.
So it's
Man, they
like
they fucking they beefed him up all the way up.
they did, yeah.
Sorry, they beefed them up all the way up.
Yeah. So it's like whatever. If Connor's gonna be Green Arrow for a while, I'm all about it. So
Yeah.
um yeah, it was good. I don't have any complaints. I'm interested if Ollie's actually, since he doesn't have powers, is kind of leaning towards Waller's side, or if there's something else going on there.
There is no way that bleeding heart would side with Waller.
I know. It's just that usually when they're doing something like this, they give us a little bit of his insight and they haven't. So,
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just not convinced. I think Williamson's a better writer than that, personally. But
mm,
we'll see.
yeah. It was cool though. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Right on. Okay, so Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 3 by Colin Bunn and art by Baldemar Rivas. Baldemar. Um, so yeah, I mean, something I enjoy about comics. We got like two different kinds. We got like the kind that are like the Alan Moore, like I'm making a statement, I'm doing this, story that's, and, all this, and then we got Jack Kirby, where it's like I'm making a fun world. This is not the Alan Moore style comic. This is a Jack Kirby type comic where it's just fun. It's fan service out the ass. You get the Power Rangers teaming up with Godzilla to fight I think they're called the Psycho Rangers, who have been upgraded with Godzilla bad guys and all that stuff. Jet Jaguar's there. He shows up and they start teleporting. The Mothra twins are there. And it's just like Colin Bunn's like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to play with these toys and I just thought this stuff would be cool. And then this is what's happening. Like that's how it seems to me as just a reader. And then like it ends with them going like, we need to make our suits more powerful. So Jet Jaguar goes to all the different like a bunch of different realities, and he gets like Rodan, Anguirus, Baragon, Mothra, King Caesar, and like uses their powers, and then the fucking Power Rangers, like the bad guys are showing up, and the Power Rangers are like, let's see if a little monster power can, a power of our own can even the score, and then we get the Power Rangers with the power of the kaiju. It's just like
Nice.
this is awesome. This is like the most fun I had. The art's fun in it too. Like it's not like there's the fight scenes are good, and then like some of the facial expressions are fucking hilarious, and they're supposed to be. It's not like one of those ones where it's like just bad art. It's like look
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
that.
it's very anime.
Yeah. So I absolutely love this book. I am gonna go a 10, and that is my pick of the week.
That's awesome, man. Glad you enjoyed it.
Like it's just kind of like the first one just seemed like Colin Bunn was testing the waters, and then they're like, "No, just go ahead, go crazy," and he's like, "Okay."
All right. Absolute Power Ground Zero. This is just a little zero issue before the main event starts next week. It's a few short stories. The first one is all about my favorite character, Jay Nakamura. It's by Nicole Maines and Mark Wade, with art by Skylar Partridge. This had one of the dumbest fucking things that I've ever read in it. There's a sniper who's chasing Jay, who has powers, by the way. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that was like the third or fourth issue of the Tom Taylor Superboy book. It was revealed he could phase.
All right. Anyway, he's being chased by the sniper through the jungle or whatever, the island nation of Gamora. Sniper targets his foot and shoots, and it goes clean through his ankle. He gets captured by Dreamer, who's, working for Waller, who knocks him out, takes him back into prison. He's just got it wrapped up and is sitting cross-legged.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, there's no fucking way. I don't care what drugs you're on. No one is getting shot clean through your fucking ankle and sitting like that.
yeah. No, it's
I realize that that is very trivial to this story, but it's so stupid that it really took me out of all of it.
yeah. No, I get that.
Especially when, they made it a whole sequence It's just like,
Yeah.
come on. That's like half of this whole mini story. And then
Yeah.
it's just him yelling at Dreamer because Dreamer chose her family and her people over his family and his people. And it's like, dude, you would have done the same fucking thing. And I don't even know what they're arguing about.
Yeah.
Because I didn't read Suicide Squad Dream Team. Anyway, second story. It's by Chip Zdarsky and Mark Wade with art by V. Ken Marion. And it's all about a guy named John Starr, the Time Commander. Are you familiar? He's just a guy who wears a mask and has this hourglass.
I think so. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he's in the current Sci Spurrier Flash.
Okay.
But I haven't read the two newest issues, or the two newest. It's like it's so hard for me to get excited about reading that book. So
I can't imagine why. But anyway, I mean it's fine. He's cool. He just, he wears a suit and the mask and his hourglass, takes stuff that's broken and rewinds just that thing in time and makes it not broken.
if only Hallie had that.
I know, right? She needs to be Hallie Star Time Dog. Anyway, yeah, he's just trying, like, the whole mini story here is him trying to escape Waller, but she's one step ahead of him. And whenever he tries to jump back in time, he can only go 5 days, which is the exact day that she caught him. So he just wakes up in his prison cell and she's like, okay, well, now you've had 5 days to think about how to fix all the stuff I want you to fix. So get to it. It's like, Waller, you ice cold bitch, you. But it was fine. Next story is by Joshua Williamson and Casey's favorite artist, Gleb Melnikov. I liked all the art except I just don't like when Gleb draws Superman because he's like all beef, like too beef.
Yeah.
All right,
Beef air.
like it's just he's just a thumb.
No, see, I like that. My one problem with Gleb is when he tries to do any action scenes because he doesn't know how to do those.
I think he's gotten better. I think he
That's
gets
good.
better the more that he works. But the rest of the art I really like. Colors are good, but essentially Waller finds Brainiac's like queen from the end of House of Brainiac, which Casey and I are going to talk about very
Yeah.
shortly.
Queeniac.
Queeniac. And in like a VR world, because the queen is a blank slate, just raises her in like a hyperbolic VR time chamber to want to serve Waller and only Waller. So you can see how that might cause problems in the future. Um, yeah, and then the last third or fourth of the book was just a preview for Absolute Power, which I didn't read because I'm like, I'm gonna read it next week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the second and third stories were fine. That first one was just dumb as hell. I'm gonna give it a 6. You don't need to read it to know what's going on, except for maybe the Waller one, because it's like, yeah, okay, you need to know why. After House of Brainiac, the Queeniac is listening to Waller. This will tell you why, but I just told you why. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I like to think it'd be hilarious if old pink hair, what's his name?
Jay.
Jay plays like a huge part in like every 5 minutes. They're like, to see why Jay's limping, go check out go check out this issue.
That would be so fucking funny, dude. Okay. So we have 5 Miuchis.
Yeah.
Let's end on House of Brainiac. I want to talk about
Yeah,
that.
I figured we would end on those two. You want to do Superman before Action Comics to make things really confusing?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You just want to do Godzilla, Zatanna, Daredevil, and then
Yep.
the Brainiac House?
Works for me.
See, that's what's funny. House of Brainiac, scary. Brainiac House sounds like it could be a Disney Channel show.
Yeah, very silly.
All right, but Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons 2, Sons of Giants, Issue 1 by Frank Terrier and Inaka Miranda on the art. And yeah, man, I enjoyed it. There wasn't like it was like, a lot of story but world building, I'll say, but I enjoyed it. What do you think?
I thought it was super cool. I haven't seen any previews or anything to this, so I didn't know that the first part of the story was going to be, that very traditional style.
Yeah, same.
Then we see the cool, kaiju cult again. They all look dope. And
This
I
splash page.
literally just opened up to it to say that I thought the splash page looked incredible.
Right. And then even the next page, the close-up page.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep. So I don't know. I just like the story where we're just jumping to, forward in time to you know, early colonial times and what that kaiju cult is up to, I guess.
Yep. And then we also get, for Hamilton fans, we get a little Hamilton cameo. They don't rap, but Hamilton and Aaron Burr are both there.
Yeah.
And
Also
yeah,
the cover super cool as well.
yep. Very cool. And I will say, I had something I wanted to say, and one thing that kind of bugs me with this book. This is just a Godzilla fan. The whole point of like Godzilla's skin being like a giant scab is because he got nuked. And so like prior to that, that's why if you guys have seen Godzilla minus one, when they had like the old God, before like when Godzilla was just wrecking on Odo Island, he's a smooth boy. And then like the bomb happens and his skin becomes a fucking scab. And like this one, he's a scabby boy. I don't think they were dropping nukes back then. So, that's a like a little annoying thing, but
Fair enough.
it is what it is. You're not going to go with a smooth boy Godzilla for your comic book, so
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
yeah, I didn't
But
think about it for
definitely.
the first run of things. I was like thinking about it this time. So like, it's took what, 7 issues for me to actually think about it. But I'm at a 9. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's about right. It was really good. I was like, I'm probably not gonna like this more than the piratey one because I like pirates, but so
Yeah.
far I do. So
Yeah.
all right, then we've got Zatanna Bring Down the House #1 by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez. Nice to see his art again after that first arc of Birds of Prey, because it's real good art.
It's amazing. This is the best art of a book I read this week.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But what do you think of the story?
I'm interested. I like Zatanna. Really just interested to see where it goes. It should be fun. Like Tamaki, has done stuff in the past where I really liked, and some stuff that I was like, oof, this is a rough go of things. But this kind of like, since it's a Black Label book, I think it kind of helps as far as like, if she wants to take some liberties with Zatanna, it can work in this book versus if it was a regular universe book. But so far, I'm into it. What about you?
Yep, I am too. Um, Curious to see. I mean, obviously we kind of know what happened to mess her up from her past, but it'll be nice to actually see that unfold.
Hmm.
I like Zatanna's personality a lot in this book.
Yeah.
Um, it's always so weird. Okay, well, before I get to that, also this creepy monster thing sure
Yeah.
is cool looking.
Awesome.
It's weird whenever I read Zatara in comics because apparently he was not a good dad and he was a total dick to Zatanna and pretty much
Mhm.
anything that you read. But I'm mostly familiar with Zatara from Young Justice, who was a very loving father. So anytime I read something like this, I'm like, why are they making Zatara such a dick? Well,
Yeah.
that's just how he was, except for Young Justice.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I think he was pretty nice in Ram's Justice League Dark when he like popped up briefly. I think he was like kind of nice in that. And then I think it's been a minute, but I think he showed up in Starman and he was very lovely in that. But he didn't actually talk to her. So he might have been like a dick to her when he was a kid, but he might have been like, I love my daughter. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, otherwise it was really good. I am very much excited for the next issue.
Same here. Where are you at with it?
Honestly, probably like an 8.5. And it was
Dude,
strong.
yeah. Like I'm keep thinking about pushing it up to a 9 just because like the story's solid, but that art is so freaking good. So
Hmm.
I'll just, since you're at 8.5, I'll say I'm at a 9 because again, art, wow.
Yep.
Okay, so Daredevil issue 10 by Saladin Ahmed and Juan Cabal on the art. Um, I liked it. Uh, yeah, we get like, the kid talking to the blind guy saying, "What's this suit? You're Daredevil." It's like he jumped to that conclusion a little. I mean, I get that it's the suit, but he's a blind preacher. I don't know. I wouldn't make the jump of being like, yeah, my blind preacher has to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we get some Kingpin fighting, but overall, it's a pretty solid issue. The art's really good. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. Um, I like how Ahmed writes all these characters. Obviously, Kingpin has some seven sins stuff going on with him.
Yep.
And I like the little added suspense of the kid ran away and it's Father Matt's fault. Nobody knows why. So interested to see Daredevil figure out that he didn't actually kill this boy's father and have to explain that to the boy and everything be okay. But it's still gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
And then we get some Electra Daredevil, which is just always a delight. She's
Hmm.
just maybe even cooler than regular Daredevil.
Yeah, it's
Like
close.
like she's Daredevil's Coke Zero and she's, you know, Pepsi Zero with cherry. You're like, that extra cherry's pretty good.
Hard to disagree.
Not a cherry guy?
No,
Well, you're not a soda guy.
true. But like of all the fruits, like cherry's my least favorite. But I can eat real cherries, but I hate cherry flavor.
Dude, I'm more apt. Like, see, this is why we're the odd couple, because I'm like, I can eat cherries. I'm okay with them. I know they're good for me, so I can like choke them down. The pits are the worst part. I'm just like, I'm just like chewing on them. But cherry flavored stuff, like if you give me a cherry Laffy Taffy, I'm gonna be sitting in your lap just going, thank you. Nom nom nom.
Oh gosh. All right. Anyway, I thought you were gonna say Matt was Coke Zero and she was regular Coke.
Oh, I should have gone with like Matt's Pibb Extra.
Yeah.
Or no, Matt's Mr. Pibb.
Hmm.
Electra
Hmm.
is Pibb Zero. Today's sponsor of this podcast.
I will say this, the only bummer about the issue is the John Romita Jr. cover.
I don't hate the John Romita Jr. cover with this. I think John Romita Jr. Drawing like 90% of anything, I'm not a fan. His Daredevil, I am fine with. His Electric Daredevil, no
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah.
His anyone else, no thank you. Daredevil, fine with it.
All right. Then
Did
we've
we rate
got
that?
oh, 8.
That's where that's what I was thinking too. Okay, so you just want to do these books at the same time?
Yeah, we can do that. We've got Action Comics 1066 by Joshua Williamson, Rafa Sandoval, and uh I forget the first name, but Mendonca on the art. And then Superman 15 by Joshua Williamson and Rafa Sandoval. And this is House of Brainiac 5 and 6, 6 being the finale. Um, I'll just say overall, I liked it. I liked how it ended. I thought like as far as Superman events go, like this is a strong one that I will easily recommend to people that come in the shop.
Yep. It's pretty solid with Superman stuff. I don't like how Lobo's written at all. But
Yeah,
and like even like Lobo's powers, it's just like Lobo's immortal. You're not really following up with that. So
yeah,
that like there was a lot of stuff that was done with Lobo that it's like I don't know about this in the continuity things, but okay.
right. Art's really good though, and like I
Yep.
said, I love Lex during this. Like he's just honestly just as much of a hero as Superman.
Yeah. 100%. He proved himself as a hero. And it felt earned. Like there's a lot of times where that type of stuff happens and you're like, this doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And like with this, it did to me.
And I know Lex says it, he could have easily taken over everything during this
Hmm.
event and done whatever he wanted, and he didn't. So good for him.
Yep.
Uh yeah, I didn't really like the story was fine. I didn't super care for the art in the backup.
I thought the art and the story itself to me were both like, this is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing bad about it. Nothing that's gonna make me go, oh boy,
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, then the next one is the ending. Superman talking to Lois, everybody survives, and then we get the twist. So spoilers here that Lex doesn't remember who he is.
Yep.
So we'll see how long that goes on. And just what comes of that. When he gets his memories back, will he still be that hero or will he return to being a villain?
Hmm.
I think it could go either way, honestly.
Probably go back to being a villain. It's comics.
Yep, for sure. And then Doomsday question mark at the very,
Yeah.
very end. So
What if Lex just switched places with Doomsday? Now he's like Doom Lex, and we get Lex say,
that would be an interesting title. Um, but yeah, overall, I'm gonna give since we're lumping it together a 9. I'd probably give House of Brainiac a 9 as well. Like that's definitely a trade that I'm always gonna keep on hand at the shop.
yeah. I mean, I didn't like it near as much as you. I'm probably gonna lumping them together. I'm probably like 7.5 to 8, like in that area, and overall probably 8.5. It's like as a Lobo head or a low head, as we call ourselves. He just didn't feel like himself, and that's always kind of annoying, especially with a writer like Williamson. I was really excited for him to write Lobo, and it just didn't pan out as good as I wanted it to. So, but
I didn't really have thoughts one way or the other because like essentially Lobo betrayed Superman to be with the Zarnians and then he just switched sides again. So I was just like, I don't really care about the Lobo shit at this point.
yeah, yeah, it was just kind of lame. But so that's my main gripe with it. Yeah, what are you excited for though, man?
I am excited for, I'll say Absolute Power. I'm definitely interested enough in that. Um, Thundercats Chitara, that's going to be a little spin-off miniseries that could be pretty dope.
I knew you'd be into that one.
And then I'll go Birds of Prey.
Nice. I'm gonna go with public domain. Um, I saw a thing for the Savage Dragon. I'm like, that looks really good. But I won't say that one. Yeah, I'll go Bear Pirate Viking Queen and Batman, I guess. It's kind of a lighter week for me. I'm really not excited for Absolute Power.
But guess who's getting one anyway?
Oh man, Hallie. I'll make her read it, see what her opinion is on it. So Fantastic Four time. I was just laying in bed, couldn't sleep, and I was like, I wonder, let's just talk about four of our favorite characters and what initially drove you to those characters and, that type of thing.
Sure. I chose two Marvel and two DC. First was Moon Knight. That was pretty early-ish on in me getting into comics. Really what drove me to the character was seeing um is it David Finch?
Yeah.
David Finch's art on those covers. That was the, that was edgy high school Jake who thought that Moon Knight carving moons into people's heads was just badass, bro. But then I read it and I was like, okay, this, I kept reading it, I should say, and there's actually more substance to it than that. And plus, he's just got a fucking cool costume. And Casey and his dad used to give me so much shit for liking Moon Knight, but I never let that get me down.
No.
It's a good book. He's a good
There,
character.
there's a few times where you get a little upset, and I'd be like, hey, it's okay that he's a B-list character. That's fine, bud. And you're like, so it's not like a bad thing. I'm like, no, plenty of B-list characters are cool. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, it's all part of growth.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Next, Dr. Fate. One, I just like magic, but mostly, again, I just thought he looked fucking cool. And after reading up on him, especially reading like Justice League International or the JMD Mateus miniseries or the Walt Simonson miniseries, it's like, man, this guy is the shit. So then we'll move on to Thor.
Really quick, not to interrupt, but with your Dr. Fate, favorite Dr. Fate costume? Because he's like,
Oof.
they're about all bangers, but like, so there was that one that Grant Morrison in his or in their thing, like it was like Multiversity. There was like
Hmm.
that one that was like the kind of looks like Superman's current one, which I'm like, that one's pretty darn cool. So, that's probably my pick.
Yeah,
New 52's Earth 2 one was cool as hell too, though.
that one was really good. I'm a sucker for the OG,
Yeah.
but I also really liked um I don't know if you remember this. I was really into the Countdown to Mystery Dr. Fate series, but then that writer died right before the last two issues could finish. So like it was like Mark Wade, Gail Simone, and somebody else wrapped it up.
That's
And
a hell of a team.
it is. It was an okay ending, but it's one of those like this would have been better if the
Yeah.
original writer got to finish it. But that was like Kent's nephew, and I thought that suit was pretty cool too.
That was the one that was also in Jeff Johns's JSA book, right? Or no,
Yep.
because he was also related somehow to the Hawkman, the one that was in that book that I
Oh
remember.
yeah, maybe it's not the same then,
Okay.
but that one's cool too.
Yeah.
But there, some of them really get into like the Egyptian thing. And really, they're just not a bad one to have. Even
Yeah.
Khalid's current one is like super dope.
I don't know if I could place that one off the top of my head. I know I've seen it, but they don't use Khalid enough, like at all. He's a he's a fine character, and they don't have him in anything. Like he'd be really good in a Justice League book.
I agree. Here, let's see. Sure. I know it's not super large, but like
Oh yeah, that
he's kind of modern-ish with like shoes and
yeah,
stuff, but like he looks so cool.
it does. I mean, it helps that the helmet, like the only way you could ruin the helmet is if you do it like they did in the movie. Like
Yeah.
They did such a poor job with the with his design. Like it's like he looked, Pierce looked awesome, but then it's like, let's just make the helmet not have eyes for some reason.
Yeah, I know. That did bug me. Um, okay, and then Thor, I just really was looking what characters are high fantasy, and because that's my favorite genre in general. And Thor was at the top of the list. So I just really just started reading a shit ton of Thor comics, and he quickly became my favorite Marvel character because of that. Viking stuff, the magic, the fantasy. It was everything that I wanted in a comic book.
Didn't Brian Atkins also kind of like get you in on it too by like talking about the God Butcher stuff to you? Because I think I was at the shop that day when he was telling you about that.
There was that one, and he was also really into the JMS run,
Yeah,
which after reading that, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. That's a
yeah.
really fucking
I
good
think
run.
think all Thor fans are really into that one.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and then Nightwing, Casey knows this story because I was starting to get into comics, and I would go over to his house in high school, and like the coffee table would just have stacks of single issues. I specifically remember Amazing Spider-Man and Starjammers. I don't know why those have just always stuck out in my mind from that day. And then Casey's dad brought me the trade of Nightwing, where uh, Jason was being a Nightwing imposter, and he had like this curved dagger. And I remember the cover too, because they used one of the single issues as the trade cover. But it's really good. Anyway, I read that and I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. I have to read everything that came before this. So I read all of Chuck Dixon and Devin Grayson's Nightwing run with Scott McDaniel and others on the art. But it's just so good. And even today, it's so good. So he became my favorite DC character after that series and has stayed that way.
And didn't the animated series kind of help with your like the basically made you like a Dick fan from this like just because it was like, oh yeah, he looks awesome, or was it the Titans show?
Um,
Because I know that was like one of those two was like your first introduction to Dick, and you were like, I like
probably,
this.
probably Teen Titans,
Okay.
if I had to guess. Because I mean, I've always thought Robin looked cool. And like,
Yeah.
I've said this before too, but like the Batman and Robin Sega game, it's like picking between playing as Batman or Robin. I always chose Robin. I just thought he was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
And,
finding out that he becomes Nightwing, it was just like a no-brainer.
and then like with both of those shows, when Nightwing shows up, it's like this is the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just out of the
Like,
shadows.
yeah, it was just like I'm like, this is so cool. I mean, like, just think how less cool it would have been though if it was like the disco Nightwing.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been a lot less cool.
It's like he walks out the shadows and he's just got the open chest, and you're like,
Huge
Robin?
collar.
Yeah, like Robin? All right, so for me, I'm gonna go with Hercules. That was because so Greg Pak was writing and Fred Van Lent were writing Hulk at the time, and then they just started doing like the Warbound, spin-off that had Amadeus and Hercules, and then like I think it was I'm gonna get this wrong more than likely, but it's Namora or Namorita. I don't like one's blue, one's not, but one of them was with them. Um, one of them wants to bang their cousin. You find out in Hercules. One of them doesn't. Uh, but yeah, so one of them was with them, and then trying to think of who else, but they were all going and basically it was like I'm like this Hercules, he's awesome. And it's like thank God this is my introduction to Hercules because a lot of the other books really bad.
Yeah.
And then I'll go with Nova. I just always thought he was cool. Like my
Real quick, because you were asking me about costume
yeah.
stuff. Did you like that costume change when it was like the black and red, like full bodysuit?
I like it now. I think it's really cool. I think it looks cool now, especially for the time period that it was in.
Yeah.
Like like I never paid attention to it until like you had the comic book shop, and I was just like, "Hey, dude, you got this Hercules book and this one?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I do." Apparently, Hercules isn't a big seller. So like, I mean, I was already like I was in the trenches as being a fan prior to that. But yeah, no, Herc was
Yeah.
never one where I'm like, his costume's cool because it's really not. But Nova's costume is cool. And
Hmm.
my brother was a big fan of the New Warriors, and like so I would read his issues of the New Warriors, and like Nova was the one that I glommed onto. And then anytime I could get the chance, and then I would read something with Nova in it, like, and by that I mean I would be at like the Mattoon Mall when they had flea markets, and I'd be like, "Oh, $1 for this random book with Nova in it." The really best one was like I spent $1, and it was the New Warriors teaming up with Fantastic Four. The cover was Nova and the Thing. I'm like, how could I go wrong? And so it was pretty sweet.
I know that cover. It's a good
Yeah,
cover.
it's awesome. And then like it just the worst part about that book, it just fucking ends with Silver Surfer, flying from the sky, grabbing Terax and taking him away. It's like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, so that one's great. And then Dan Abnett, Annie Lanning kind of brought him back into things, making him awesome. And then Al Ewing, just like he did with Hercules, just made him kind of a crybaby wiener. But it might get better. And then for DC, Flash, I just always loved Flash. I thought he looked cool, thought he was cool. You run fast. I was never able to run fast, still can't. So like, I was living vicariously through him.
Who's the
Um,
best Flash?
I'm a Wally West boy, but most like the early stuff that I really like the covers of and everything like that, because that's what my dad had was Barry Allen stuff, and I loved those covers growing up. Like that was like a big thing. I'd be looking through it and then be like, there's one that always comes to mind where Wally's like, or Barry's like coming into this building, and all of his rogues are there, and they're like, it's great that you're here. And they're like having a party for him. And it's like, whether they all have like guns behind their back. So it's like, Barry's not going to see this coming. And then, I mean, I loved Superman, but I'm going to go Jack Knight Starman. Love him, love him so much. And the way I got into him was that so there was a advertisement in Marvel versus DC for the Starman, and he just tank top, fucking goggles, and the staff. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but this is the coolest thing I've ever seen when I was like 6 years old. And then I forgot all about it. And then like there was advertisements for the first omnibus coming out. I'm like, it just kind of like reawoken in my brain. I was like, this is the coolest looking thing I've ever seen. And so then I got that for Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, this is the best. This is amazing. James Robinson. I don't know how you also wrote Cry for Justice, because this is like the best comic I've ever read.
Cry for Justice wasn't his fault.
I mean, I agree. It was not his fault. And James, if you're listening, you want to talk to us, we would love to tell you how much we love you, because we do.
Yes, for not just Starman, but for
No.
Hawkman and JSA and
Yeah.
anything else.
Man, I just picture him trying to write Hawkman though with like as big of a continuity nerd as he is, just like having a nosebleed like while he's writing it, because this has got to be a nightmare.
I agree. He did it with flying colors though.
Good.
Cool. Well, I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Fantastic Fours that you've done.
Let us know down below too, guys, what yours are like, and if you were just like, oh, I'm a big team guy, so I really liked the new Warriors because they got that new character safe space, and I was like, this is speaking to my generation. Maybe that's it or whatever. Maybe you're I don't know, a Zatara fan because you're like, I too had a terrible father.
Oh man. Well, dude, tell them what to comment on YouTube because I do closing plugs at the end
I know.
now.
So
Did you
just
like it, by the way?
I haven't heard it. I need to listen to it, but like It's like I had the
That's fine.
podcast.
I mean, it was a lot of work, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, I mean, I'll listen to it one of these days. Um, but yeah, leave us a comment down below. Tell us, like I said, tell us what you think of the NBA trades, and your Fantastic Four, and what comics you read this week, and how can I get my dog to stop fucking breaking my plates?
All right, guys, we would love to stay in chat, but we have a father-daughter dance to get to, and we got to get ready. So we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Worlds Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod, on Twitter at two_worlds_PC, and on Facebook at facebook.com/twoworldspodcast. You can email us with any questions or comments at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com, and if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.